In last week's episode, we talked about a Sabbath practice. Basically, it is a weekly day of rest. This is rest for your body, your mind, and your soul to recover and recharge before we rush headlong into the next week. If you didn't catch it, make sure you go back and give it a listen. It will really inform today's episode. A quick note before we get started today. I want to mention something new that I'm creating just for women like you who feel like their brain isn't working the way it used to. Lately, it just feels foggy and overwhelmed from the constant mental load of life. I'll be sharing a bit more about that at the end of today's episode. For now, let's get started and let's help you build your own weekly rest day. You've probably heard about a rest day in reference to your workouts. But did you know that your entire person needs a rest day? There are so many benefits. Just like when you work out your muscles and they're tired and you need to give them a rest so that they can build back stronger. The same thing applies to our whole person. That's why the idea and the practice of one day a week taking significant amounts of time to rest is so good for you. Because you need to recharge your batteries mentally, physically, spiritually. And taking an entire day may sound really daunting. It may sound impossible, truthfully. But what if I told you that you could begin a rest day practice with a few simple steps and maybe an hour or two and build towards a full day of rest each week? Would you be willing to try it? That's what we're talking about today. Now, I know what you're thinking. A whole day of rest? How can that work? But just hang in, friends. I'm going to give you 4 steps to help you build a practice that is sustainable, that works for you and for your family. Hey, friend, this is Suzanne. Welcome to the Daily 15. Today, I have some encouragement for you. We're talking all about simple ways to practice a weekly rest day. A Sabbath. As always, I'm going to share simple, practical steps that you can build starting with just 15 minutes a day. If you're feeling fine but really need a deeper rest, grab your coffee and let's get started. Now, I know that this may be a strange concept to you. Growing up in church, this is something that we talked about. It is a concept that's covered in the Bible, and this is a practice that the Jewish people did to show their trust in God's provision. They would take a day once a week, and they wouldn't work. This was odd, even for them. So today, in our busy, crazy, run until we drop life, this is a strange concept. And so what I wanted to do today is give you a few simple steps to get started. As always, we're not looking for perfection here. This is not strict rules. These are guidelines to help you get started, to create a little more margin one day a week. Now, as you're looking at your week, find a day that typically you don't have a lot going on. Usually it's a weekend day, but not always. It depends on your work schedule and your family schedule and things like that. I mean, we do it on Sunday, but people who, work on the weekends might do it on a Monday or Tuesday. So just pick a day that typically you have a little more flexibility with. And again, this is going to be in flux for a little bit. Don't be so hard on yourself if you pick a day that doesn't quite work. We're just trying to pick one day in the next couple of weeks that will be a day that you can try out your rest day practice. Okay, now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to grab a piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to do a little brainstorming. I want you to think of activities that you find relaxing, whether that's a hobby or taking a walk or taking a nap. Clearly, you can tell I'm a fan of naps. Reading a book, whatever it might be. It could be that what you really enjoy is getting out in the woods and hiking. Now, for some people, that feels strenuous and stressful, but for you, that might be really relaxing. So I want you to brainstorm a list of activities that you find relaxing, that recharge you, that make you happy. Anything that feels restful to you should go on this list. And do not edit. Remember, this is a brainstorm. We're just going to list everything that we can possibly think of because you're going to need some ideas to begin to experiment with what your rest day looks like. Mine usually involves books or, resting, like really resting, or walking, being outside, simple things. But again, you may be a painter. You may love to paint and you don't have time in your normal weekly schedule to do that. That's a great activity to add to your list. So keep in mind that this is just the beginning. You may discover that you're like, oh, I want to try a new hobby, or you want to experiment. That's perfectly fine. This is just to get you started. So you have a day picked out and you have some activities. Now I want you to go back to your calendar and I want you to really look at it. We know that if we don't schedule it, if we don't actually put things on the calendar, they don't happen. So I want you to think about the day that you selected and pick an actual date that you are going to try this rest day. Now don't panic. You don't have to block off the entire day. I want you to start with one day on the calendar and one activity. What I would recommend is that one of those activities is maybe an hour or two at most, because that feels manageable when you're starting out. To think about spending 6 or 7 hours not being productive is really scary. And we don't want this to be scary. This is intended to actually help you relax and recharge so that when the week starts, you're actually more productive. So keep it simple. Pick a day, put it on the calendar, and pick an activity. Now is the hard part. Now you've got to wait for that date on the calendar. When that date arrives, I want you to do your best to relax and enjoy it. And it's going to be hard because this is so out of the norm of what we do. We don't know how to do this. We don't know how to relax. We've never been taught. So you're going to teach yourself. You're going to get up that day. You're going to look at your list. You're going to look at the time that you've blocked off for it. And you're going to go do it. And it's going to be clunky and messy. And you're going to question if you did it right. There is no right here. That's the beauty of a rest day. It's truly customized to you, to your life, to your family's life, to what brings you joy. And it's going to be hard at first. But once you've done that one time, then you can try it again. Maybe you try a different activity. Maybe you're like, okay, that day didn't really work. Or maybe you're like, no, that day was great. And that activity was great. And oh, wait, I actually want more of that. Which is typically what happens. Because it's what we need. We need these rhythms of rest. We need rhythms day to day. And we need an extended day each week where we really just receive. It's not a day to give and give and give and give. You do that every day. This is a day to receive joy for the things that you love to do, to just be present with your family and not worried about the to-do list or the laundry or the dishes or the cooking or that big meeting that's coming this week. It's just a moment to pause and truly be present. Now, at the end of the day, I want you to do a quick review. This is nothing detailed. You don't have to journal it unless that's your thing. But just think about, did that day of the week work? Was that a good activity? I mean, did it bring you joy and was it relaxing? Or did it feel a little like it was too much? This is the time to start to review and think about adjustments for the next time. Now, I also want you to pat yourself on the back when you get done with this, because you did it. And I want to acknowledge that. But you're not off the hook, because we need this every week. So once you have made the adjustments, I want you to get another one on the schedule within a week or two. You're going to need lots of practice with this, so you don't want to wait too long in between your rest days. And eventually you will get to the point where this rest day practice will become something that you not only look forward to, but that you insist on having in your schedule. Now you have the flexibility to plan this whenever you like, whatever day, whatever activity that suits you best. And maybe there are seasons where that activity changes. I mean, if you're going to walk outside, you don't want to necessarily walk outside in the dead of winter. Some people do, not me. But you have flexibility to make this rest day what works for you. This is not a checklist. Even for the Jewish people in the Bible, when they got this command to block off this day, they made rules. But God created it to give them the rest that He knew that they needed. And we still need it today. So I hope that these 4 simple steps will help you begin your own rest day practice. Not with stress and structure and I must do and I must not do, but joy and receiving and relaxing. Because eventually you'll find that you are guarding this time like pirate's treasure, because you have seen the benefits of it. If you're listening in today and rest is feeling harder than it should, if your work feels way more full than it should be before it even begins, and you're just craving more margin in your life, but you're not sure where to start, that's why I created the Reset and Refresh call. It's a focused time for us to look at your current rhythm, identify where the pressure is coming from, and create 1 or 2 strategic shifts that will immediately create a little breathing room for you. It's just a bit of clarity and direction that leads you to margin. You don't have to figure out sustainable life rhythms on your own. I'm here with you. Thanks for joining me today. If you're ready to create margin in your life and a sustainable rhythm built just for you and your family, schedule your 30-minute refresh and reset call today. You'll find the link in the show notes below. Until next week, take your 15 minutes to create margin for what matters most, and take these 4 steps to begin your rest day practice. As we wrap up today, I want to share a quick preview of something I've been working on. It seems like lately I keep having the same conversation with women, and they keep saying, I used to be able to remember my grocery list, and now I feel like I have to write it down. And a lot of them are also saying, I walk into a room and I can't remember why I'm there. What on earth is going on? Why is my brain not as sharp as it used to be? Why do decisions at the end of the day feel so hard and like I just can't think straight? If any of that sounds familiar, I just want to let you know that I am working on something to help your brain function more clearly, to help you think more clearly, to help you to remember those words that you keep forgetting, to help you remember why you're in that room to begin with. So just wanted to let you know that that's coming. I am so excited to start sharing this with you. Starting with next week's episode, I'll be unpacking what's actually going on, why brain fog is a real thing, why we're dealing with it, and start to unpack how we can do things each and every day in just 15 minutes a day to help that brain fog go away, to help you think more clearly, make decisions easier, and start feeling a bit more like yourself again. I can't wait to share what I'm creating and how it's going to help you.